Welcome to The Informant, the podcast that talks about anything and everything. We cover from sports, religion, politics, social, you name it. I'm your host as ever, Doc McLeod. So without any further ado, let's delve right into it. Good day, my good people. I hope I find you well. Right, let me just do a 10-minute video explaining the current situation in Zimbabwe. This one, sit back, relax, and make sure that you listen attentively. It's a message mostly not for people that don't support ZANU PF. It's a message for people that support ZANU PF and are still wanting to follow on the matrix within ZANU PF and for ZANU PF. If you're somebody who does not support ZANU PF, this will not be very good for you to be listening to unless you just want to get information pertaining to the current situation. Right, let me explain this. First and foremost, I want to appreciate Mkoma Fidza, Magona Masimbisa. Thank you very much. Saw the message and I saw everything that you did. I greatly appreciate. Some of these things I would have said them and maybe sort of like forgotten, but because I would have discussed these things with you, it helps me when you start to bring them back. Right now, this content that I'm creating is because of your reminder. Thank you, Mkoma Fatso, Magona Futi Masimbisa. At the very same time, allow me now to explain to the general public things that we would have discussed in private. 2023, I sat down with my big brothers and we were talking about the ZANU PF situation. I told them that there's going to be a lot of challenges and a lot of friction between the sitting president and the vice president. But this friction is going to come soon after the elections, not before the elections. I spoke about 4 people. Number 1, the sitting president, His Excellency Emmerson Mnangagwa. Then I spoke number 2 about CDGN Chiwenga, the vice president. Then I spoke about Nelson Chamisa. Then I spoke about the third man, or I call him 3 men. That's what I say most of the time when I'm writing, so that most people don't actually closely follow unless you are close to me and I explain to you who those people are. Right. When we are talking about these people, number 1, most of the time I prefer to call them by names that are used within the political circles. Just like the sitting president. We don't call him His Excellency Emmerson Mnangagwa. No, that's a long cry. We just call him Mrabgi and that's it. Then number 2, retired General Constantine Guverni Kadzino Dominic Chiwenga. We don't call him Vice President or Chiwenga. No, we don't do that. We call him Baba Gam. These are names that we use when we are out there. Just like Nelson Chamisa, we just call him Nero. Just like what his people call him. Those are the names that they are known by. Then we have got people like Amatatu. We don't call him Amatatu because people will know. We call him 3 men. That's his name. That is what we know within the political circles. So here now is the reason why I'm explaining all of this to you. 2023 I posted and I say we are looking into something very special to be coming. But what I'm seeing is unbelievable. I was speaking Nanam Koma Fidzan, but what I'm seeing is unbelievable. Prophetically, I'm seeing 3 men being the leader of the ZDF. Remember, I'm talking about somebody who's within the CIO, the intelligence. Not as the leader, but as a vice within the intelligence section. But he's the person I'm seeing as the leader of the ZDF. 3 men. And I say, this is what I saw. But most of the time when I discuss these things, I always write them down. I don't write them in my diary anymore. Some of these things, I write them on social media because I know what it means and the people I would have discussed with. Right now, 3 men has been inaugurated as the leader of the ZDF by Murabgi. And this is just about 2 days ago. So 3 men is now the men in the realm. When I wrote about the dream on social media, I said, friction between the sitting president and the vice president. It's going to escalate until a time when 3 men is instilled as the leader of the ZDF. Valerio Sibanda is going to be retired. it did not make sense, because I'm talking about somebody coming from the Central Intelligence, overriding his way into the ZDF. Not Zimbabwe National Army, but Zimbabwe Defense Forces, running all the forces. And yet in the CIO, he is not the leader, but he is a vice to the leader within the CIO. It does not make sense. But when God reveals something, we just have to obey. Now that it's all come true, I've heard the right people call me and explaining the whole situation that this is unbelievable. This is what we say. You have actually hit the bull right on his eye. Let's get into the situation as I explain the matrix now. Now that the ZDF commander has been instilled, we are now moving into the matrix succession within ZANU PF. And I want you to pay attention. The ZANU PF matrix, the sitting president, I told you he's a man who has worked in the intelligence for years. Because of that, he has got an upper hand over whoever contests with him, especially if it's his vice president, CDG and Chiwenga Babagam. He has gotten, because Babagam is a specialist in guerrilla warfare. And the succession battle here is not giving room for anything to do with guerrilla warfare. It's giving everything to do with intelligence. Henceforth, Babagam is always outclassed by the sitting president. Everyone will continue to say, no, you don't know what he's planning. You don't know this, you don't know that. I've heard it all. The biggest problem we have had is people from the opposition of ZANU PF, people that used to be on the CCC side, following Nelson Chamisa, are now sort of like partyless. They don't have a party that they are belonging to, but they still have got that drive of wanting to outsmart ZANU PF out of power. So because of that, everyone who sees anyone trying to push out, be it the sitting president or the party of ZANU PF, they are bound to support that person, because they are just looking for somebody who can drive the narrative of what they are expecting as a way of pushing out the sitting president or ZANU PF. Politics does not work like that. Why am I saying this? Blessed Geza came onto the stage, and before you know it, most of the support he was getting was from people that are left fatherless, who are people from the former opposition of CCC. They made news about him, they taunted about him, then at the end of the day, when they saw him failing, they uprose against him and started to call him again a ZANU PF project. Blessed Geza is not a ZANU PF project. He really meant what he was doing. But unfortunately, he did not garner enough support as he expected. Reason being, he did not engage all the players and the parties that he was supposed to engage if he wanted to push through that drive. I don't want to mince my words, I don't want to lie. Had Blessed Geza stood and invited properly the person of Nelson Chamisa to come back onto the political scene and have him to drive all his supporters to rally behind him with the very same drive, they would have maybe succeeded. Reason being, Chamisa has got his followers. Let's not forget this or turn a blind eye to this. In the last elections, Chamisa accumulated 2 million votes, meaning to say he has got a following that he had. Right now, according to my own prediction, I'm saying according to my own prediction, not your prediction, my own prediction, whether you agree to it or not, I want to believe of the 2 million people that are said to have voted for Nelson Chamisa, he has lost half of that. He has lost, according to me, 1 million. So that has downgraded him. But that does not leave him not to have followers. That henceforth you see that there's 1 or 2 that will come into the comment section and tell me not to talk about Nelson Chamisa. Those are the remaining few to the people that are still following on Nelson Chamisa. I'm not here for Nelson Chamisa. I just want to try and explain a situation here pertaining the succession matrix in ZANU PF. So those people, after Blessed Geza had failed, they are now trying to push the general so that he outsmarts his master, who is the sitting president, Emmerson Mnangagwa. The people taunting or backing him, most of them are from the former opposition, which is CCC. who are just needing somebody to make sure that they push to outsmart ZANU PF. But you have to know one thing. Murabi is there, and he is there not only just there, he is there with a strategy. What he has done is, he is throwing too many bets, because intelligence is his game. Because of him throwing too many bets, it's leaving so many people confused. He comes out, he says, I'm going to step down at the end of my term. He says it with his mouth. But do you know the man we're talking about? He is a man who's very smart in political intelligence. Having said that, some people are believing in what he said. Other people are saying, no. He just wants us to get carried away while he drives his motive. They believe, some people are believing that, having said that, he is also acting different to what he is saying. It's all politics. He is a man who has played politics for years. He knows how to throw the bets. He knows how to confuse the lot. You cannot predict his next step. Whoever tells you that they can predict his next step, they will be lying to you. He is throwing too many bets, even within ZANU PF itself. The differences within ZANU PF, it's not a Chiwenga Mnangagwa divide, as people are putting it. No, it's not that. I have said it, and I say it many a times. But some people are not listening or understanding exactly what I'm explaining here. It's not a Mnangagwa Chiwenga succession battle. No. This is what's happening within ZANU PF. And I want you to pay attention as I explain it, maybe for the last time. Comrade Manize and the Vice President, RCDGN Chiwenga Babagam, they don't sail in the same boat. They are both potential candidates to take over the presidential position. So obvious they don't see eye to eye. Henceforth, at one point you saw a Comrade Manize attacking Babagam. It's all because these are two potential candidates who are willing to throw their names in the hat for the next presidential candidate of ZANU PF. But also, you have got a person like my sister Opam Chingurikashir. She's also a talented candidate for the presidential position. So we are having three people here as an example that I want to show you. These three, they've got different views, but they can unite together if ever there's mention of the person of Queen Bee Kudata Gwire as a potential successor of the sitting president. Because Kudata Gwire is also a player whose name is being thrown in the hat for a potential presidential candidate. You will see people like Honorable Muchangwa. They were saying a lot of things about blocking Kudata Gwire from being from being pushed into the Central Committee, even into the Politburo. They did everything within their powers to make sure that Kudata Gwire does not fit into the system. But before you know it, he is in. Does it mean to say that they have failed in stopping Kudata Gwire? It looks like they have failed. But still also on the other side, they haven't failed. They've got a certain position. People like Vice President, sitting Vice President, CDG and Babagam, people like Honorable Manize, Comrade Muchangwa, and people like my sister Opam Chinguri, they are not for the Kudata Gwire as a candidate for the presidential position in ZANU PF or for Zimbabwe. So these people can unite. They are uniting for a common cause. They are uniting because they've got one common enemy amongst them. They don't want Kudata Gwire to step in. But amongst themselves, they still don't see eye to eye. So seeing them together does not mean to say they are in agreement to who is going to be the next candidate. They are in agreement because they want to out somebody who they know has got a serious financial stamina that he can use to outsmart them. Because the stepping in of Kudata Gwire limits their chances of being the next presidential candidates. A people like Comrade Manize is pushing forward to say, let's go to the Congress, we will select the next candidate, because he believes within the structures of ZANU PF, he is more popular than Kudata Gwirei. Also, Kudata Gwirei knows that if he goes head to head without frustrating these guys and making sure that he is tying his position as a suitable candidate for president, he will be outsmarted by these guys. He knows the connection that these guys have got with the war veterans, who are very influential in this succession battle. Kudata Gwirei is busy making sure that he is tying his relationship with all the structures within ZANU PF. Henceforth, you see now, he is going around doing rallies. These are not just rallies. He is self-introducing. He is introducing himself to the people. He is making people to relate with him. He is making people to connect with him, so that when the time is ripe, there will be little obstruction to him being voted as the next presidential candidate, in case names are being called to be put in the hat. So we have got three potential. And then CDG and Babagam, Vice President Constantine Guvernика, Zino, Dominic Chiwenga. Within the structures of ZANU PF, he is not very popular compared to these two now. Compared to Comrade Manizi and compared to Kudata Gwirei. And he's believing that he should have been past the battle. He should have just been anointed and not allow for the names to be put in the hat. Reason for that, he knows that his popularity within the structures is not that very good. So he is not a person who's so keen to go to the Congress for the election or nomination of candidates to take over after the sitting president, current. So all of them have got different views, and they have got different ways of how they want things done. So these three candidates has left a lot of people. And in the process, the sitting president, knowing his position, he has actually thrown too many bets. So he has got the people of Kudata Gwirei who are acting like G40s within the Lacoste system, who are believing that the young generation has got to be given an opportunity. People without war credentials have got to be given an opportunity for them to get into the system and run the country. People like Comrade Manizi is still holding on to the wartime credentials to say, we went to war, we fought for the country, this country belongs to us, chinu chedu. The vice president is also holding on to the fact that he's saying, in the ousting of the late Robert Gabriel Mugabe, I was the architecture, I'm the one who influenced and pushed these things to happen. You hear a person like Themba Mliswa stating it, that there was only and there will always be one Constantine Guvernика Chiwenga, one such general to push for that. There will never be another coup again in Zimbabwe. It's all because they are appreciating and noting the role that he played in the ousting of the sitting president, Robert Gabriel Mugabe. Now, with the sitting president seeing that everyone is pulling from every corner, he has actually thrown baits around. Let everyone pull from their corner. It takes away pressure from him. Because Comrade Manizi is busy conducting what he thinks is the best way for him to be the in-position candidate, to be voted when it comes to the nomination of candidates in the 2027 ZANU PF Congress. Kudata Gwirei is starting to build his CV, roaming around with young people, with young musicians who he knows draws crowds. As much as he's saying things and still making mistakes, you know what? Practice makes perfect. As much as he continues to do that, he will end up getting this jinx of how to present himself as a very welcome and trusted candidate for the presidency. Right now, he's prone to making mistakes. I can openly tell you that. When you look at Kudata Gwirei Queen B, we all know that he's loaded. We all know that he's a billionaire. We cannot deny that. Henceforth, most people are afraid to even talk about him. But the current position is, number one, he still lacks the charisma of that presidential candidate. Number two, he still lacks the acumen of being a presidential candidate when you are speaking to people. The way he narrates things, the way he reveals things to people is still not the way many people would expect from a presidential candidate. With time, he will get it right. Like I said, practice makes perfect. Give him just a year with him doing the rounds. You will start to see that he will correct himself and he will get it right. The minute, after 1 year, the minute he stands before people, is going to be appreciated. Number one, the way he walks. Number two, the way he talks. Number three, the way he drills his talks. Number four, the charisma that comes with it. Number five, the dressing. All that will change with time. So right now, he's still in the infancy of the person that people are expecting of a candidate. He's prone to be making mistakes. Henceforth, like you see from his talks, whatever was said, and Comrade Manizi came and struck straight away. It's just to discredit him. But if this continues, within a year, mark my words, you'll be a very good candidate for that position. All these things that people talk about him will be thrown aside. But where's my story today? My story today is in the succession battle. There is now another option that is being thrown to the people that are following this succession battle. It is taunted. We have heard everything that the sitting president wants Kudata Gwire to succeed him. Comrade Manizi refusing and refuting to the fact that they are saying he has got to go through the Chitepo school of ideology and he has got to understand how the structures run within ZANU PF. CDG and Baba Gamachi Wenga is saying he just needs to be anointed and be the next candidate. Other people are waiting within the wings, like my sister Opam Chinguri. She's not saying anything, but she's always close to the president, regardless. So with all this base thrown, what is the next step? There is another option. Option number one. Let's talk about the first option that people get to know. Number one, there's the extension of the term from 5 to 7 years so that it pushes still the president to remain faithful to what he said. That is only going to step down after his 2 terms. He comes out and people are saying he said that he's not going to continue until after he's going to end his term in 2028. You are going to hear all those talks. That's his wish according to what he's saying. But if there's people that's supporting that the term be extended by 2 years so that it runs to 2030, he is not the one who's flouting the rules. But it is the people that have got him at heart that are pushing for that. And they can put that as an offer. Meaning to say he still remains within the lines of a faithful constitutionalist because he has followed the constitution according to the dot. Now we move to the next step, where we are talking about the kingdom. That Munumtapa kingdom, don't turn a blind eye to it. It's still being applied. It's another option. They are not working with one option here. They are working with many options. So these two are, term extension is option number one. Kingdom is option number two. Number three, there's another option where the sitting president will remain the president of the country, but will step down as the president of the party. Look at this one now. It's the latest on the block, where the sitting president is going to step down as the president of ZANU PF, but will still remain hinging as the president of the nation. Meaning to say within ZANU PF, a person like Kudata Gwire now stands a chance to be the presidential candidate for ZANU PF. In the meantime, he will be molded to become the next candidate for for presidents after the retirement of the sitting president. Remember, we are talking after the retirement of the sitting president. It's like I'm contradicting to what I'm saying. But if you go to option number two, if everything else succeeds before third option, it means to say the kingdom option is going to be implemented. One way or the other, the sitting president is still going to be there. Whichever, whether it's the amendment of the constitution, whether it's the kingdom option, whether it's the in-split presidents, where we have the national president and party president, two different people, he is still going to be there. His statements have got to align to what's within the constitution of Zimbabwe, which makes him to remain as a constitutionalist, as he has said it, and as he claims, and as we all know. But it's not him now doing the running. It's not him doing the groundwork. It is the people within the different versions of succession plans that are fighting each other. So at the end of the day, the sitting president can fold his hands and watch. But for me to understand that the general matrix is now coming together, it's now adding up to what we knew or are expecting. It is with the anointing and the appointment of Comrade Matatu, 3 men. 3 men is now in command of the ZDF. It puts the final nail in the jigsaw. Now that 3 men is there. Amatatu pavari ipapa. Patogadzira kusunga chisungo chese tatoziva kuti zvinhu zvamira mushe. So once 3 men is there, of which he now is, and it's official, the next step seems to be known. I'm telling you, the sitting president is not going anywhere. Trust me, 100%. And this you can write down, I've said it. It's not going down anywhere. People can talk about plans. You don't know the plan of this one. You don't know the plan of that one. You can talk about many things. But another thing that I should tell you, CDGN, Chiwenga, Baba Agam, the retired army general, yeah, Baba Agam, is not going to be eliminated out of ZANU PF. That will spin everything again if that is done, of which I don't see it being done. I see him still being contained and being placed somewhere. Other people are pushing out the person of the second vice president, Comrade Mahadi. I don't know. Others are citing on health issues and whatever. The man is one of the most trusted personnel within the sitting president because he's not ambitious. He is not a threat to the throne. He is a faithful servant, serving honestly within his position. Remember, he has been put there because of the presidential executive powers. So of people that are faithful, he is one. Henceforth, you see, he is trusted and is not in fight with anybody, but he's just doing the work as assigned. He is the late Comrade Mzenda. People who are not ambitious, people who are just content with what they've been given, people who are content about their position, and people who don't unravel feathers to start wars with anyone. He's just there as the sitting second vice president. So as we go, let's see where the 3 men will take us now from here. Because he's now holding the deciding factor as the army commander of the ZDF. So 3 men becomes the very, very critical player in this game. If he had been placed there by the sitting president, it means to say he trusts him. What's going to confuse people is the position of the retired Army General Valerio Sibanda. He is not just going out. From Civ, he's coming into ZANU PF. Mark my words. He's coming into ZANU PF. And another new plan is being put in place. Everything has been worked. You are dealing with things that have already been concluded. But it is the thing that you are seeing that will confuse you. But as of now, wait and see as we go. We'll progress. Once again, I say thank you, Mkoma Filter. Magona ipapa masimbisa, Mkoma Faria, Magona masimbisa, Jinu Jakamira Mushe. We are moving forward. We are seeing and we will continue to say these things. Tataona jete tunotaura, but for now, I'm out. You work your mathematics and come up with your solutions. But this is the thing that's on the ground. As of now, I'm out and have a good day.